Welcome to my fourth lesson in my 5-part Intro to Bitcoin course. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite parts about Bitcoin, what Bitcoin can do for others. So let's jump right in. What can Bitcoin do for others? We've talked about why Bitcoin has value so far, what Bitcoin is and how it works, what Bitcoin can do for you and in your investing and in your monetary, personal money situation. But now let's talk about what it can do for other people. And like I said, this is one of my favorite things about Bitcoin. It brings and extends the privileges that we take for granted here in the West, especially in the United States, where the middle class assumes that everybody in the world has a bank account. Everybody in the world has access to sound investments for keeping their money and for growing their money, for protecting their wealth. And that is just not the case. Many of the wealthiest people from other countries actually come to the United States or send their money here to be invested because of the wealth of opportunity that we have here to safely grow our own wealth through the investments that we have here. So that alone should indicate how rare these things can be, to have good places to put your money. So first and foremost, Bitcoin gives some of the very poorest people in the world the opportunity to bank themselves for the first time. It gives them a place where they can put their money so they can protect it. And we'll talk a little bit more about why they would want to protect it and how it protects them. It also helps disproportionately, I would say, the poor, refugees, and undocumented people that are hurt the most by our current financial systems, that are reached out to, or our systems are least accessible to, the least available to these people. And also the wonderful thing about Bitcoin, extending this to them, because the only thing these people need in order to bank themselves with Bitcoin is internet access, which is available in some form or another to almost everyone on the planet, whereas banking is not available to them. So many of the poorest people in the world lack one or two of these basic things in regards to money. One, they lack understanding of how to use money well. And even people that are in first world countries, even people who have money, often do not know how to use money well. And this hurts them as well. But again, it hurts poor people and others disproportionately because they are in poorer situations, obviously, than we are, and they don't have the understanding to bring themselves out of it. The other thing that they lack often is the tools. You need the understanding, but you also need tools. You need a good money supply, and you need places to put it that are safe, and that are fair, that are accessible, and that will protect and grow your wealth. And many people in the world do not have access to this, not even just the poor. And our current systems of money punish a lot of people through inflation and other abuses, confiscation, etc., that are leveraged by the people who control the money system against those who are forced to participate in several countries. Most people in the world also live in places where they are forced into, as I was just saying, certain money systems, and they don't have choice. Bitcoin gives people that choice. It gives people, even in good systems, choice, which is also good because it creates a sort of competition, and it creates a encouragement for the existing money systems to improve themselves or to lose their utility, their usefulness, their relevance to the rest of us. So also, as regards to what Bitcoin can do for others, an interesting story I recently read highlights this. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but there was a man named Friday, I believe, who was caught in the Ukraine-Russia conflict and was fleeing the country with his family and was unable to get out enough Ukrainian money from his banks because the lines were so long at ATMs, at banks, but he had invested in Bitcoin. And even if he had gotten those lines, it eventually turned out, it sounds like from what I had read, banking systems got shut down eventually in Ukraine, so nobody was able to get their money out. But this man was able to use his Bitcoin to cross borders, to get his family to safety, and to provide for himself when the existing money system that he was forced to use was shut down and closed off to him. So this is another thing. It's a prime example just how Bitcoin helped Frady. It can help other people as well in these war-torn countries and countries that are oppressive, in genocidal situations. People can move cross borders and take their wealth that they've put into Bitcoin with them. This is huge. We take this for granted. This is something we don't deal with every day, but this is a real situation, a real crisis for people when they have to leave, want to leave, or forced to leave their country to go to a safer place. How do they take their wealth with them without losing all of it? Bitcoin provides opportunities for people in these distressing and terrible situations to be able to protect and preserve their wealth and take it with them to aid them in starting a new life somewhere else. So Bitcoin does some amazing things for other people and for the poorest people, and for some of the hardest affected people in the world by the terrible situations that we deal with in the course of human events. So that is today's lesson. Tomorrow we will talk about a basic Bitcoin investing strategy that I recommend everybody start with to begin with. And even if you've already started investing in Bitcoin, and if you haven't done this, you should do this. And this is like I said, one of the best ways to get started. But by doing it, you also help the entire Bitcoin ecosystem, including yourself, including the people like we talked about today, the poor, the refugees, the undocumented people who are unbanked and excluded from our system. By doing this and making this Bitcoin system more stable, more powerful, more valuable, it benefits them tremendously as well. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow and get into what HODL 520 is and how you can use that as your first basic strategy. If you haven't done it, you can backtrack and use it as well. It's so simple and easy to do, and it'll really get you off on the right foot as a Bitcoiner, as a Bitcoin investor, and help you to understand some of the basic principles that make successful investors in general, regardless of what you're investing in. So we'll see you in the next lesson.